see the activity for the first time ever. And once you do, much like me, you'll be filled with total indifference. I'm Charles Recton with the retro review of Paranormal Activity, The Ghost Dimension. Oh boy, wasn't this just a fun goddamn way to end the franchise. Yeah, it's from the collection of the 6 movies that I have, and I did just recently retro review, even though I'm not necessarily sure that 6 years counts as a retro label. I'm just gonna fucking roll with it, because I did it for Paranormal Activity, the marked ones. Let's talk about this one that was, boy, it was a crappy way to end the goddamn series. It was made from 30% recycled parts, and they tried to make this all a big epic thing, and, oh, we're gonna show you Toby, we're gonna show you all this stuff. And it really wasn't all that good, and also the kid was really super fucking annoying. At least that's the way the kid character was written. They tried to make her creepy, she was just really fucking annoying. The only bright spot of this goddamn cast was Olivia Taylor-Dudley, who played Skylar, who was just, goddamn, she's fucking beautiful. She needs to be featured in more movies. She was in She Dies Tomorrow, and it wasn't her fault, but that movie was absolute dog shit. But she is fucking great. So this was directed by Gregory Plotkin, who also went on to direct Hellfest. I own Hellfest, and Hellfest wasn't bad. It wasn't great, but it certainly wasn't that bad. 3 different people wrote this movie. This trash heap took 3 people to write the screenplay, and I don't know why. So you had Jason Pagan and Andrea de Schuschman. I assume I pronounced that right, probably totally butchered it. They wrote Project Almanac. They didn't write the Almanac. If they wrote the Almanac, maybe they could have figured out a way to, I don't know, go to another country and maybe write a better goddamn movie. Or maybe get out of the country and say, we don't want anything to do with this schlock. Also, Adam Robitel, who wrote The Taking of Deborah Logan. That was less than good. It was less than good, shall we say. I do want to once again plug the fact that this actually is a very, very good deal to have. I don't remember where I got it, but it was for like, I think maybe $15 for 6 movies on Blu-ray. That's pretty good. And also, this was supposed to be the end of the series. And after this one, I didn't want to see any more. And then they did Paranormal Activity Next of Kin just a few months ago that I also reviewed. Check that out, and it's on Paramount Plus. I watched the unrated edition. I watched the alternate ending as well, and I'll talk about that stuff when I get to that point. It would be weird to start at the ending and work my way back to the beginning. This ain't Memento. But yeah, I hated this one. And there was potential for it to be good, but here's the thing. It just relied on so many conveniences and coincidences and other stuff and everything. Like, oh, it's this big interwoven epic plot. And look, the first one tried to make it seem like, oh, we'd like to thank the families for letting us show this footage of what happened to them. And then they do the second one that's kind of the wraparound for the first one. And then they did the third one that was a prequel, so to speak, showing Katie and Christy as kids. And that one actually seemed to wrap up the trilogy nice. And then they did number 4 that wasn't bad. Catherine Newton actually was fine in that, and she went on to do bigger and better things like Freaky and The Map of Tiny Perfect Thing, which is on Amazon. I would recommend you check that out. The marked ones had some moments and then just got really, really weird at the end. Then there's this. And yeah, I've kind of gotten to the point where I haven't really talked that much about the plot because there isn't much of a plot. Even though they try to make this grand sweeping and everything, and oh, it's all frightening. It's very, very frightening. See, Galileo. You have Chris J. Murray playing the character of Ryan, who's the dad of Layla, and his wife, Emily, played by Brett Shaw, who is very fucking lovely as well. They're in a house that looks very, very similar to the third movie house. I wonder why. Oh, gee, that's why. Big, big shock. Spoiler, I'm sorry, retro review, because I'm going to spoil this stuff. It's also been out for a number of years by this point. And, you know, even if it had been out 2 years, sorry, there'd be spoilers because you should have watched it by now. If you're like me, and I know I am, you are a fan of the Paranormal Activity movies, good, bad, or indifferent. While I fully recognize that they are not the best films ever, they are just a really, really big guilty pleasure of mine. They are living in a house that is on the same lot as the house from the third movie, which apparently burned. And how do we know it burned? We find out through conveniences and coincidences. But yeah, Olivia Taylor-Dudley, my goodness, she is fucking lovely. And also you have the kid editions of Katie and Christy. Chloe Sesjeri, pretty certain I got that wrong. She plays Katie, and Christy was Jessica Taylor Brown, much easier name to pronounce. So yeah, for the first time ever, see where the demons, disruptors, and all the other bullshit happens. You get to see the activity as it exists. Episodes of Ghost Hunters where nothing happened was better than this movie. And again, I like the other movie that Gregory did, Hellfest, but my goodness, while that movie wasn't perfect, it was leagues better than this. So anyway, we first show footage from Paranormal Activity 3 and bonus footage where a guy with a ponytail, the cult leader seemingly, tells him, hey, I've known Toby for a really long time. Christy, you're going to give birth to a boy that's going to be part of this ritual later in your life. Be weird if they did the child bride thing, even though they seem to kind of imply they were going to do that in the third one. Gross. Fuck any society, fuck any people that want to try to do that shit. No, no, no. Leave the children alone. It's not like leave Brittany alone. And then Katie will have to be relied on for her strength because there's going to be a lot of shit she has to deal with, like killing everybody in her sister's family later and taking Hunter. Also killing her sister. They kind of ignored that was going to happen. Oh yeah, Christy, you're going to give birth to a kid and then your sister's going to get possessed by Toby and come back and kill you. Okay, wait, what? They just seem to just forget that this shit was going to happen. Oh, we didn't know this was going to happen. No. You're just trying to basically go back in on yourself and go up your own goddamn ass with this story. Alright, so we're in Santa Rosa, California, November 29th, 2013, and apparently they just can't get out of Santa Rosa at all. Apparently Santa Rosa is the epicenter of all the satanic Rosa, that's it. Except Satanists wouldn't actually do this stuff if you actually believed in the Church of Satan, but hail Satan, dear. Mike is fresh off of a bad relationship. Mike, played by Dan Gill. Dan Gill is a very generic name. This guy also kind of looked generic, even though the guy really tried to act. I'm not knocking the guy, but the presentation that they gave was that he was a guy that wanted kids. Children are the future. Yeah, they are. And you ain't going to have much of a goddamn future, buddy. Hate to tell you this. And Skylar's there. She does yoga stuff and she's staying with. It's never explained the relationship she has. Is she a friend of Emily's? Is she a special friend of Emily's? I would like to have seen that footage. Moving on from that, they're just there. Layla's there, or Lee. They call her Lee. I'll just call her Lee for short because apparently saying a two-syllable name is too hard for me. One day, while setting up Christmas lights, and Mike shows two male reindeer doing it, hey, I'm not going to judge, nor should you. Rudolph got come over by a reindeer. Ooh, that's where Santa's sleigh is. Is that like Yas' sleigh? Boy, I sound so goddamn white, Santa. Everybody shut off the review after that. I'm talking to nobody now. They find the camera from the third movie. Okay, they find the camera from the third movie, the one where the guy took the oscillating fan, cut that off, and did the whole rotation thing, and it did that and filmed it in the kitchen. And did the thing where the babysitter got frightened by the sheet dropping down. Because the third movie was actually good and actually had scares. Okay, so the third one could not see any of the ghostly stuff, by the way, right? I mean, you did have where a camera caught, like, you know, the dust coming down on the person when, you know, and on the ghostly figure when the earthquake hit. You had that, but you never got to see stuff like this, mainly because the special effects budget wouldn't have allowed it, even though a few years later, I guess they were able to. They're like, here's another $1 million, go do bad special effects. Okay. And slap a Paranormal Activity label on it. Alright. Should we come up with a reason why these special effects are there? Ghost magic. Okay. So anyway, now they can suddenly see ghost magic. It looks like entrails and weird black shit and everything. It's like this. It's like an oil rig, like it's just bursting slightly and just the stuff's floating around. And if you get in this black stuff, oh, you feel like you're going through slow motion. And yet they didn't mention that this camera could do this before. So he wants to find out about the ghost trail and explores the camera's features. Hey, it's got all this stuff, but I don't know what this does. Considering that camera came out in 1988 and this was 2013, I really felt old because I was 7 years old in 1988 and I remember having a camera not quite like that but very similar, and actually had a friend, a neighborhood friend that had, his uncle had a camera like that or whatever because he liked to film himself working on cars. That's all I'm going to say. Anyway, let's get away from all this reflection about my childhood and talk about more kids, like Lee talking to a friend. His name's Toby. Oh, that's normal. No, it's really not. You really should stop your kid from doing that stuff. So we get more tapes from the third movie. Seriously, I think maybe actually 40% of this movie may have been from recycled parts. Yes, we get more delving of what happened to the kids after the activity took over and killed their stepdad. It wasn't actually their dad, but Katie and Christy were just absorbed into this cult and made to where they would do the stuff, and Christy would be filmed doing, talking about this and describing Lee's room, and oh my god, what the hell's going on? He's there. The lights go out. The lights always go out. Damn you, Paul Heyman. Skylar talks about yoga and energy, and dear God, again, she's beautiful. God, she's beautiful. Ghosts, one night they make the seesaw go up and down because ghosts like to play too. And also, Lee is obviously possessed, trying to bury her mother's rosary out in the garden. Why? Why the fuck not? I don't want to talk about him. Well, you're talking to him right now, you dumb bitch. Anyway, more recycled footage. I mean, some of it is actually kind of interesting, and then some of it is just very obvious. If you watch the unedited, the unrated version, by the way, you get like maybe an extra. God, let's see, how much extra footage do you fucking get? You get an extra. No, not an extra 16 minutes. Wow, boy, you don't get much. You only actually get about an extra 8 minutes. Yay! Extra 8 minutes. That's really absolutely nothing, in all honesty. So every night now, after they get a camera set up and everything, Lee's acting all weird. She's, acting very strange because she's possessed. She's going to be taken. Why is she going to be taken? Because she's part of this ritual. Why? Ghost magic! So yeah, they get the camera and they figure this stuff out, and they figure out that this black entrail stuff, it's not Lionel Richie walking on the ceiling, it's some weird ghost. Oh no, dear God, there is something going on here. And they find out that the house is built on top of the lot where the third one was, because why the hell not? It looked very similar to the house, actually, with big wide open spaces, as the Dixie Chick said. And Skylar gets spooked. I wouldn't blame her. I'd comfort her. Okay, moving on. The activity comes up in the form of an oil, like, painting, an oil rig, like, had a baby and everything, and this thing's just there, and it's just doing that. And then they talk, Mike and Ryan talk about more footage, and it's like, well, maybe she saw this footage. No, she's 3 feet tall and she doesn't know what a VCR is. God, that made me feel old. I had a DVD VCR combo until I'd say about 5-6 years ago. Yeah, seriously, 5-6 years ago, because that's how long that damn thing lasted. And then the DVD player got stuck, and I had to get rid of it. Also, the VCR thing was, man, I kind of miss having VHS tapes. I don't miss VHS viral. That was a different kind of VHS. So Toby gets more angry, and he decides, I'm going to just, start messing with all these fuckers. We get Leeds assigned to throw pages of a Bible in a goddamn fireplace and turn on the gas, except she's 3 feet tall and doesn't understand how gas works. Don't play with matches, at least during the night. That's what the mother said. Don't play with matches at midnight. During the day, set the house on fire. Set every house on fire, honey. But don't do it at night. That's during your sleepy time. Alright, so anyway, the ghost decides to turn on the gas. Why? Why the fuck not? At this point, it doesn't matter. Ghost magic. So, Katie's describing more stuff and saying, I see a lot of TVs. I see brothers. I see all this. Oh my God, she can see into the future. I can see into the future. And then Lee runs in because she's scared, because they were making noise, and then she sneezes. And Christy says, bless you. And they had to look back on that footage, because they tried to make it all crazy and subtle, and actually no, it was just lazy. So, she decides to draw symbols. Lee does. She draws weird symbols. Looks like the symbols from the previous movies. I wonder what this could mean. It's a door. She's drawing a doorway. Why is she drawing a door? Because it's called the ghost dimension. We need a goddamn door to go to the ghost dimension. That's how these things work. You can't go on the bus line. Maybe the ghostly bus line. Maybe you can go on the train from Final Fantasy 3 or Final Fantasy 6 if you want to get really goddamn technical, you jackasses. But, man, that goddamn game was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun. I wish I still had it. But it is what it is. So so they call a priest, and they finally decide to call her after it's clearly obvious their daughter has been possessed for a long time. She hates the nativity scene, starts banging down the thing on there. Another. Just taking the figure and just doing that. Not stabbing, but just putting it down. And then, well, the priest comes. He puts holy water on her, and she bites him on the neck. Or on the ear. It's hard to tell because they don't really show any blood. She fucking bit a priest. That's actually a pretty appropriate reaction. Now the parents finally realize, hey, we need to take care of this. We need to figure out why in the world is there another tape showing that these people, this tape that we never found before, this tape from 3 days before, this guy's talking about entry points, and oh, this will be great for Toby, even without mentioning Toby by name. The realtor agency, the people that sold him the house, had never heard of the person that sold him the house. They said it's Katie Hubbard. It's entirely possible that it was Katie as a realtor, but they were too lazy to goddamn film it. What do you want to bet that's actually what it was, and they actually just cut that scene out? It wasn't in the deleted scenes. They play hide and seek. And then the demon decides, I want to play hide and seek and kill everybody. Eventually. Kinda. Sort of. Hey, there's a tape from 1992 that shows the hunter's there, but he wasn't born yet. What's going on? Ghost magic. That's literally it. And Leela has drawings of, basically a lamb god and everything. And oh no, it's going to be giving Toby a human body. They're going to sacrifice Hunter and Leah, or take blood from them and give it to Toby to give him a human body. A human, clumsy body. Why do they need to give him a human body? He seems to have all these powers in the world and he can just kill everything. So, maybe just leave the house, because eventually what happens, even though the priest tells him, hey, demons haunt houses or haunt people, they don't haunt houses. The parents and Lee leave. They leave, if you will, and Mike and Skylar decide to go back to the house. Now everything's fine, but they apparently arrive during the day. Everything's fine, and then they arrive, and then they're still there at night doing all this studying. How much time did they need to get all this stuff out of the house? Apparently a lot of time. So then Lee was back in the house. How? I don't know. She got teleported back there. She's trying to open the goddamn door. And then, I am the bringer of he. I am the lizard queen. And then Priest says, we don't need an exorcism, we need an extermination. Oh boy, Priest talking about extermination. At least he's not German talking about an extermination. So, she was born on June 6th of 2005, 666, numbers. And then you think about it, actually, it does make sense. 2000, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And sorry for holding the thumb up, I have bad joints. He says, soak these sheets in holy water. This water's blessed, will trap the demon, and will just say shit. This is all in the last 15 minutes of the movie, this stuff happens, by the way. They're like, shit, throw crap at the screen, see what sticks. That always works in these movies, by the way. Trying to trap a demon in holy sheets. Holy sheet, man. And then everybody just loses it because more of this activity and all this bullshit's happening and everything. The priest gets taken away because they apparently, said that's it for your paycheck. That's your lot. You're done. And then they trap him. They trap Toby in there. But Lee's not fixed. And she climbs on the door after everybody gets killed. Skylar suddenly vomits, acid soup on Mike, and he's dead. And then Ryan gets a hand through his goddamn chest. There's somebody I could think about that would deserve a goddamn hand through his chest with the name similar to that. And, yeah, sure, go into the demon gate to rescue your daughter. You're at 1988, and you're all through here, and you're talking to Katie and Christy. You're too late. And then she finds her daughter, and then Toby's there, and Toby kills her. And then she leaves with Toby. The alternate ending is this. They do the same thing and wrap Toby in the sheets and stuff like that, and it's done, and suddenly Lee is fine. Or is she fine? They move to a new house 4 months later. And they find another tape. It's Katie, it's Katie, Christy, and it's KK and L bedroom. Katie, Christy, and Lee. They just went to another timeline. They smash the tape and everything. And then Lee says, look, I'm here with my friends, and it's Katie and Christy. Nobody questions. They got rid of Toby. What the hell? Or did they get rid of Toby? They're having a birthday party and everything. Everything's all happy. And then suddenly the cult leader's just there. The cult leader's just... Why is he there? I don't goddamn know. I don't think the movie knew. They just decided, hey, let's just throw some shit there. I hate to say... A couple of the deleted scenes kind of explain something. There is one deleted scene where Katie and Christy bury a crown because you should see them in a crown. And then, you know, Lee finds it later. But other than that, there is one where Lee is clearly possessed. I think it's when Skylar and Skylar and Mike were in the house, and they decide, she's holding the knife at her. No, don't come near me. To be honest, I mean, I don't. Without the knife, I mean, yelling at kids to get away from them, I can identify with that because I loathe children, seriously. And nothing against the actors, but just the way the character was done. The kid was particularly annoying. I didn't really care what happened to anybody in this movie. Yeah, easily the worst of the series. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Retlin. I'll see you soon.